Okay, looks like it's working, guys. Okay, cool. Looks like this thing is on. Whatever that means. I can get on the computer and you guys tell me what's going on, okay? So, life is good. Um, hi. Uh, there, that's my thing. Hi. This looks like it's actually working.
Let's try this. I've learned to be so patient and quiet. Okay, guys, how's that? Is it working now? Refresh. Okay, video and audio, video and phone have sound. Okay, good. I just turned my Bluetooth off. You know, it can get really weird sometimes, especially with what we're doing. I am broadcasting from a car wash in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and this is a Walmart parking lot, and it might rain. So to find a quiet place when you're in a car, you go to a car wash during a rainstorm. Isn't that just makes sense? Because there's a shelter and nobody's really washing their cars. So you'll hear the water and stuff. And so is everything good? Life is good, la-di-da. Oh, Rebecca, are you on? I hope so. Rebecca is a wanting to give energy tonight if you guys want. Because, you know, she's like super overload, blonde. Hey, I want some juice. Yes, just put your tongue in the light socket, then flip the switch. You'll at least half of you will get a good time. All right, so I take it everything's good. You may hear a roar of a car. It's Walmart. Hot Springs, Arkansas, Walmart. And so it's been really interesting here because the whole crystal energy is really unique. Kartron will come through and he will explain about the dynamics and what's happening because you guys need a heads up on this other stuff that might not have, oh boy, it's so weird when you're doing multiple things because it blends over, especially when you're working on the same subject matters. And so the webinar that we threw in with the Lauren Daly show was like, oh, wow, cool. So we actually took some material of what this is doing and condensed it into a 3-day, 90-minute each webinar. And so to straighten that up in your head can be a real big thing. You guys probably are going, oh my God, how can I function in my day? So it's really interesting, especially with the energy that's here. It's like, yeah. Earlier today on Facebook, we had a crystal shopping experience with Gary Fleck, whose house was opened up and to do these broadcasts. And so I want to thank everybody who's been here in the hot springs opening up. And then something happened yesterday. Oh, if you guys get any weird things, any tech going on, make sure you let me know. All right, now I'm gonna start this and action. Okay, thank you everybody for showing up on this August 12th, 2018 broadcast of the Kartron Experience. This is season 22, episode 4, which is the future self. We are going to have Kartron come through and he's going to literally create a point in the future. And this is part of the geometry that you guys are going to be having as part of the new Earth body, new Earth self process. And so it's no coincidence that we wound up here in this hot springs, Arkansas, where these massive crystals can exist in the ground. You may be over crystal veins and not even know it. So it was like, wow, what a perfect thing. And so you guys might have even felt some of that stuff going on. And so what's really interesting is that I have learned to differentiate. There's almost a tornado came. I would have got this broadcast signal out to you guys earlier, but the Starbucks flooded where I was because the rain came in. And I have this issue with rain where it sometimes will just rain. And so it rained. And so I'm in a car wash. And and so these processes that you might be doing may have a similar effect on the emotional component of the environment, which would be water. So I couldn't go to Starbucks. They shut it down. The water was coming in. It was really weird. And the work that we did is so important. I can tell you what went on because it's like really cool. And so I hope Rebecca gets on because she's going to be really wanting to give some energy. You guys want some Rebecca juice because she's saying, oh, maybe they'll want it. And let's get Rebecca into her cycle again because she's been so down and out with these eclipses. You guys have been going through a triple set of super eclipses, like super new moons. It's just been really crazy. If you're half sensitive at all, then you're going to probably feel this stuff. And so it's not really you. It's this thing that's going on cosmically. So it's just insane sometimes of these pathways that you've chosen. That's why Kartron and I have chosen to do this process to help you guys as much as possible because you're the ones who are actually doing the heavy lifting on this. And it's like, whoa. And so, if comment to Rebecca if it works, right? Because if she comes on, Kartron may not be looking with the eyes because he's looking at you guys. Okay, so let's send a message, tell Rebecca to get her butt on here. And so life is good. I'll talk to you later. And we're broadcasting live from the car. No, wait. There's one other interesting thing. A guy who was dropping off a petition for the independent mayor of Hot Springs, Arkansas, was so spacey in his red BMW. And I could read it to you. It was like, this is something you might find very interesting. And so, so this is what happened, and I just felt like doing this. Today was a special day. This was like yesterday. The solicitor of petition for independent mayoral candidate D. Scott Taylor of Hot Springs, Arkansas, rode my ass but didn't pull my hair. Well, at least that's what Ellie, my car, thought when he took his hot red BMW convertible and tried to pull out into traffic, instead pushing her rear end as she was parked. So in the cafe, he tried to pull out and didn't notice that my car was parked. or he had parked behind it. So he tried to lower his top one up looking, wondering why his expensive lease car wasn't moving in a very failed attempt at multitasking. So it's not every day your ass gets rode by a future mayor or a friend of his, especially one who seems so hyperactive. He wouldn't notice that he was actually trying to pull out traffic while pushing a parked car with his own. This shows me that if he ever gets elected, he'll probably get a lot done and not remember what it was, because to be a good public official, you'd actually have to be aware that your actions actually do affect the lives of others. Well, at least if he becomes the mayor, I could probably use his denial of the incident on August 10th, 2018, during his candidacy as a political favor to get lifetime bathhouse privileges in Hot Springs, Arkansas. After all, he didn't even offer Ellie a cigarette as he sped away in his hot rod. Isn't it just like a man with a political plan? And so that's what I wrote, because he said, no, I didn't, to these two ladies who were watching him do it. It was like, whoa. And I thought, if he doesn't get in his body, he could get really hurt. So Ellie was, my car was like, oh, that's nice. Hey, honey. And he didn't even give her a pillarette. So that's like, not cool. So it's like, fine. And so that's just what happened a couple days ago in Hot Springs. Now, I think I'll Kartron explain the process, because this is like, what's going on? So anyway, that's really neat. I don't see Rebecca. Yeah, just project it to her. She'll get it. So yeah, it was a nice BMW convertible. It was red, and my car's red. And so these girls were watching him push in my car, thinking he was going out, and he was getting his top down. And it's like, whoa. And this guy was trying to get people to sign up for petition ballots. It's like, wow. Yeah, let's get that guy in office. He'll be really good lackey. You won't even have to tell him to forget stuff. So anyway, today Kartron will be talking about the future self. And we're going to design that point. I'll talk to you later. We are feeling the vibrations of the crystal striations in the veins of massive crystal structures in the earth here in the Hot Springs area. Hello, everybody. This is Kartron. How are you guys doing? Whoopee. We're broadcasting from a car wash during the rain. How's it going, everybody? Rebecca's been going through it, and that's, you've seen her post. She was going insane because, well, here, let's put this way. On behalf of her, right? It's like, okay, hypersensitivity, meaning you have so many switches on that you see all this. You can hear thoughts. Like 2 days ago, Rebecca said, oh, well, we just helped some children ascend. Like a group of them just died on the planet somewhere. So you have this level of information. Your higher self team would be giving you such radiation that you can't sleep. So it's about 3 days she was without sleep. And then all this hypersensitivity would make you real wrong. At the same time, the midsection has health issues that would create life worrisome issues. Am I going to make it? Even though she would tell her team, oh, guys, you're killing me. It seems like they didn't listen. They had deaf ears. And so, and then we had to go. And so Rebecca felt like, oh God, people are leaving me. So you can understand what she's been going through. All that compounded. As a Scorpio, with the death and rebirth, Pluto and the Scorpio energy, she's been really transmuting a lot. So thank you very much, Rebecca. And so, but that's going to change. If you guys have felt anything like that, isn't it nice that you don't have to feel all of that? So that's what she's been going through on behalf of her stuff. It's been really a challenge for her. So today, we are going to create the future point. Now, we will see if we have this. We actually Patrick diagrammed the full breast to soul so that you can kind of get a visual of this thing. Now, you guys need the update. It's like a galactic weather report. but geographical for this place in relation to our work. You guys are a part of this, so it's important to give disclosure and inform you what's going on. Yesterday, during the eclipse on August 11th, the super new moon solar eclipse, with the Lion's Gate opening up, Lion being the flamboyant individual with the great cosmic energy of the divine, amazing, mostly the divine feminine, with a dark divine feminine that's basically putting the ego in its place, gateway system that was opening. Yesterday, there was a gathering of very amazing beings, and so we informed them because just before we came into this body and did some work, Patrick saw what was happening here in the Hot Springs area. And so there is an etheric ascended master temple that's above this place, and Patrick saw it in its clear crystal. And it's like, imagine a mansion, a big school or mansion that you can see through from the bottom up, and it's clear crystal. And so Patrick's going, holy blank, Batman. It's like, duh, that thing's coming in. That's why we felt to go immediately to Hot Springs and then make phone calls and see if we're supposed to do anything here. And so this massive crystal process here, under here, you can imagine how much easier it is to bring all that cosmic energy of the ascended masters from Shambhala in when there's this crystal field, which is not really in time and space. Well, it's in space, but not really in time, not the linear time that you know it. The crystals here have been very much a part of the Atlantean and Lemurian civilizations also. And so there's a very interesting dynamic here. So we informed them because it was necessary. And so as this happens, Rebecca, are you here? There she is. Okay. So Rebecca, yes, give energy. They said yes. All right, just blast them. Give it out. You guys are helping Rebecca. She would lie down, and it's like a current that stops. It can't go anywhere. Let's connect her circuit up so that she can transmit this energy. And you can transmit it here too, guys, and all this crystal energy is available to you. So what we've been doing is we've been doing this on hypersteroids. Imagine 1 trillion tons of crystal rock that transmits cosmic energy beyond time and space. It's like, okay, great. So what we are doing is we are turning this into, it's like a sheet of electric. And so with this energy, it gives us the ability to be able to more easily configure the dynamics of your capacity. This process, this month, is like this. And this will be forward. Okay. All right, so here's what's going on. All right, so here's the processes this week. Week 1, we did the past, right? Higher self, feminine, past self. Let's see, you can see this yet. And so the second week is to the future. That's where you are. But then we are actually going to do a heaven one, right? And then we're going to do an earth one, right? And then we're going to bring it together. And week 5 will be the now self. Because what we're doing is we're using time itself, creating geometric structural points to then use a reference. And we're actually basically building you your own new earth body recovers. Because you guys really can't be just live physical, right? Oh, I'm a carbon-based unit. Yes, I am. Really, that's not your theme song anymore, is it? And so what we're going to do today is we're going to create the current of the energy. And for those of you that think you want to shut down this ascension stuff, don't. Because the more you resist it, the more it can create this chaos and trauma. So the key is let it flow. And even though it feels weird, let it flow through you. If you feel like you're going out in space, go. Do not resist this cosmic change. You, the little speck of a body on a little tiny thing, ball of a planet, is being brought in by the great attractor, which are 10,000 central suns, or 10,000 galaxies. This like electric field, this cosmic field, is so vast that it's like this blip. But you guys have this code set on this little planet, and you as light workers have this special code thing. So what we did yesterday was we helped these Atlantean seed carriers to transmit this energy by opening a gateway using the Leonitic portal and a gateway in the earthly, your local sun, and then the central sun, and transmit this energy of these codes that they have been carrying. So you've been a part of this, and you guys have been giving up your stuff. What happens when you give up your big codes? Well, you don't have to be holding that place for the big energy, which is usually on the cycle of the great arc. And so you got to wait. Oh, 10,000 years, that's just another phase of evolution. It's like, no, it's time for you guys to start becoming you instead of y'all, and then you'll be joining the all as a you. Does that make sense? Please respond on that. And so, Rebecca, you can type whatever. So there'll be a double thing. She was ready to do a broadcast maybe this weekend, next weekend, from a very special place that you might remember seeing, and we will tell you later. So, are you guys ready to do this, to create this next structure? Because aren't you just so done with being just a corporeal, carbon-based structure? All right, and so, okay, good. Well, Donna, right now we can do that, but it's not time to fix the planet. It's time for you guys. Because once you are in a really good way, then you'll be able to be better equipped to do things like put out fires and stuff. So right now, don't fix the world. This structure is for you. Now, there's a lot of things you want to help, right? Of course. And so it's like, that's why you're here. I'm here in a great cosmic way, la-di-da. But it's time to get you ready by giving you the upgrades that you require to really do this. So we are going to do this process. And what we are going to do, let's see, week 3, the present self. Okay, yes, this will probably be next week because we're going to start using heaven. We are going to literally create your present self as a nodal point where all this will come together. Yes, Hot Rod, Tammy. And so this then will be bringing in the soul self, the spirit self, and the you self. So that's not right now. You don't need to focus on it. We're just letting you know we're getting ready to design the present you, because remember, we're dealing with different versions of the you. So this is something that's going to really, really be able to re-reference yourself, and this macabric structure will be something you'll take with you. And so even though if your identity goes away or whatever, you'll have this structural design, this geometry, like a crystal, right? That will then, you will be this crystal being, the new earth self, which is connected with the new earth body, that can handle bringing in the higher self, that can handle all this other stuff. You guys, some of you are feeling like you're dying trying to bring it into your body. Well, it's not supposed to be just your body. So, on the count of 3, we're going to have everybody release, having to try and put that big genie in this little bottle called your body, all right? Let's let this go, because it's really time to step up and get the structure that you require. If you're going to make this work, you have to maintain sanity, and that means not going crazy. So, are you guys ready to let it go on this level so you don't have to hold on to what you think or perceive or see it's supposed to be? Are you ready to let go of anything that you think you have to control or be in charge of or know what's going to happen, and get ready to fall into that great beyond, to jump into that void and not have to know what's next? That's kind of a scary thing, isn't it? It's like, oh, blank. What do you mean I don't know? My whole life has been designed about needing to know and have a plan. I'm already spacey. My whole life has basically fallen apart. A lot of times the cosmos hasn't felt like it's showed up and gotten my back. And so you want me to trust this thing that I'm not sure if it's actually completely sane? That feeling is a part of the process of this deconstruction of this third dimensional structure, that part of that identity that you are connected with on that level is also being deconstructed. So that means the references of, oh, Paul, this is going to take this long. This is this time. This is what I have. This is my success. I'm going to grow. This is my structure. This is who I am. I can identify this. I'm in a body. I've got this career, and this is all the cool things that I am and can do. Or this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. It's time to just let it all go because you're going to get the new designs as you get the new upgrade structure. Does this make sense? Please respond on the video. Okay, we're doing well. We're doing okay on it. And so it's like, and good luck if you think that you're going to resist this for any length of time. Because guess who's going to win the wrestling match? When the universe has you pinned, Big Mama ain't going to need to even think about you. It's kind of like, by the way, everybody's going. Yay, let's go together. It's like, across the land there is, oh shit. And if humanity doesn't change, the disasters, the natural environmental changes will change them, change that anyway, and thus them, right? In Hawaii, when the tsunamis come, the big wave hurricanes, the Hawaiians have a much easier way. Basically, you don't even have to pray to your gods to say, please don't have that hurricane come and destroy our society. They just will think it away, which is their reconnection with God. So, because they get that, a hurricane is air, so that's mental, they're getting the lesson, or they're closer to it because they never really forgot it as people in the land. And so they said, okay, oh, that hurricane's going to go this way now. And it does. And so Patrick, in the 30 years he was connected with Hawaii, never saw a real disaster hurricane come to the island where he was. But look at what it did as far as reinforcing people's connection to remember God, source, self, universe, and one's own abilities. So for people to change the cycles of natural disasters, it's necessary for them to be open and available. This death of the ego, of the smaller self, can be extreme suffrage. And if someone then can finally let it go, it's like a great current, and you are on that bank, and that's one to pull you. And this current's pulling you, and you've got these claws, and you've got these dig marks in the bank, and you're all starting to go. You're like, no! How many does that apply to you, Rebecca? Well, it's okay, because your new identity is waiting, and it won't show up unless you completely let it go. It is understandable for people who aren't ready to let it go completely and not need to know and not have to control. Patrick's process is different. He went to this place because he said, oh, I need to go there now from Atlanta to Georgia. And so he showed up here with no plan. So he got here, he was sitting in the middle of a town, the Hot Springs town, and he's like, okay, I'm here, because he listened without hesitation. And he acted upon it. And it's like, okay, here we go. Yay. Oh, blank. Should I find a truck stop and sleep in the car or what? And so he then gets quiet. And it's that quiet that allows the more silent voices to show up. Because the mind doesn't have to figure everything out. If it did, he wouldn't even have started this journey where all this magic is happening. And so he's going, okay, fine, I'm here. Great, I showed up because I had to come here. And then it's like, okay. And then quietly it said, call this person. Because Patrick's like, well, who would I know here? Well, I would know somebody who knows somebody here. So let's call them. They said, wow, you're there, cool. Okay, call this person. And Patrick called this person, and this person says, oh, we just did it, come on, and then let it tomorrow. Let's go to the lake and do a show. And the radio show lady, Lauren Gailey, said, great. And then Patrick says, you want to do a webinar? Yes. Okay, so in one day he had to create a new system for the new Earth body process that's along the same lines of this month's subject matter, which then was very successful with no advance notice. If he would have had to think about this and be in charge with his mind, that magic would not have been available. We're talking like physical magic, everybody. So are you guys ready for that physical magic? To have such spontaneity that you basically are playing ball with the cosmos. And that's what the quantum road trip is about. Yes, so Rebecca's doing this. So that's what's going on this journey. So here we are in a crystal field, and we are getting ready, and these people said yes to doing a master's retreat to bring in the new mystery school for the ascended masters of the temple that's coming to land in the crystal fields of Hot Springs, Arkansas. How's that for a party? And you guys can help as this forms. Do you want to attend a mystery school, a master's retreat with crystal masters and channels and etheric dolphins and stuff like that to really be in this energy, to soak in those cosmic waters and also in those hot springs, which are basically a bunch of cool baths, like a downtown row, stuff like that, here in this crystal field that's beyond time and space? Well, that's what's happening as a result of Patrick saying, I'm just going to go here and see what happens. Talk about brave, right? Well, once you guys get to this, figure out how this works, then it's like, okay, I know how to work this now. There's a system. And it's a system that says, okay, this is how you work this. And this is where my mind comes in as a supporting member instead of having to be the one that's in charge. Because it's like this. Your brain, big fat lobes, is looking at a picture window and there's a spaceship. Hey, did you see that? Oh my God. And this big fat loby thing's in your way. And it's like, wow, look, it's a spaceship. It's like, well, if you move your fat ass lobes, then maybe we could see the ship. But, right? And so it's like, it's got to be in charge and in the way. And so, as long as that happens, the mind, with its good intent, will control, limit, diminish, prevent, and structure, push out, because it's like it can't compute a cosmic process that says, hey, there's a universe bringing in a greater picture, and so it can't surrender because it's not made for it. So this is a process that you guys are going to learn. Let's do this. Let's check the battery. It's doing well. Good. Yes. Imagine tons, like maybe a billion tons of crystals. That show earlier on Facebook showed you some of the stuff. That guy, Gary Fleck, has been doing it for 40 plus years as a guardian. And it was an angel in the 80s, 70s that said, hey, Gary, this is cool. This is what crystals are about. It's like, oh, okay, baby. So right now we're on week 2, and we're going to do a future self. Boom, boom. So let's begin the process. All right, we're going to do the 4 breaths to soul. Let's find that diagram. This one's important, and Patrick diagrammed it for the very first time. So you get to see this brand new program that was introduced only one other place. The 4 breaths to soul, all the things. And this thing, fractal breathing, this is a whole different process. And this is a very interesting thing that we help Susie with. And so, guys, are you ready to do this? Yeah, baby. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, baby. Okay. All right, the 4 breaths to soul, this will give you a visual. Would you like to see what the 4 breaths to soul looks like in diagram form? So, what an interesting time in a car wash. Are you ready? That's funny. Elga, are you ready? Elga was never not been ready. Elga invented ready. Okay, guys, you can multitask. Schizophrenia, being a professional schizophrenic, has its advantages. All right, ready? This is the 4 breaths to soul. All right. Number 1, the violet blanket. Okay. That's diagram A. Imagine this violet blanket going up from Saint Germain. Okay. And what you do then, as it goes up, motorcycles, we loosen up all this energy with the violet energy, right? This is the in-breath. When it hits the chakra systems, that's when you breathe in. Hold it, circulate through your being. Breathe it out, release all self. Okay? Now, what you do is you fall back to the still point. You guys have done this, but this is the first time you've seen the diagram of it, and you rest, W-R-E-S-T, at the still point. So that's the first breath, which is self. You're releasing yourself. See, the full breath to soul is part of the fractal breathing process. And that's where you will collect the different cells to release your existence on each particular plane. Susie will get that. All right, so the second breath is spirit. All right, so on the count of 3, breathe in the spirit, the still point, counterclockwise. All right, circulate, hold that in-breath of the stillness, right? And then release your spiritual identity as you breathe out clockwise to the world. Fall back to the solace behind the stillness within. Rest in the solace. The solace is like a void of substance. Okay. These diagrams help everybody. Because resting well, it's a computer. Would you please not shut off because you have plenty of battery. All right. Hey, 6 planets in retrograde. What a perfect time to go traveling. The computer decided that was it. So we're going to have to look at this. The rest is that resting is like resting, but well, tune into that. This is not the time to really do the semantics of that. You know, we say these things so that your mind sometimes can't figure it out. So you have to actually feel with your heart, which is where the mind of God can be. The third one, remember, you're going to in-breathe the solace. This is for soul. Breathe it in. And this is the diagram that Patrick created for solace coming within to you. That solace, which is like the void of substance, where you do not exist. Circulate the solace. Hold it within you. Right? 2 angels open up the curtain behind you, revealing your soul. And then as you exhale, release your whole soul's identity. Fall back into the soul, and that's where you rest. So feel this soul energy cooking your asses and every other anatomy. Rebecca, let this happen. Go to your solace and the soul. Operate from there. Watch what happens with your circuitry. You're going to work a lot better from that place. Wow, the computer said that's it. Interesting. All right, guys. So now we are going to do source, the 4th breath. In breath, the soul, right? Let it flow through you, through your veins, and all your cells, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, causal, precipitative, manifestative. Hold that, and then we put this into the temple of love in your heart. Let it emoliate you, circulate that blood of heaven through your veins. Soul energy is like liquid pearlescence, almost like purple and pearlescent, blue, violet. So then now it's time to become one with source. Let everything go. You are becoming God. You see why you gave up your soul at this time? Okay, so then you're going to release your creation self. Now you rest as source, not in source, as source. So does that help? Wow, that computer said that's it. Patrick, is glad that he didn't think about all the planets in retrograde. So even this thing said, that's it. We haven't been on that long. Are we using extra juice? Oh, okay. All right, guys, how are you doing? That's right. It's nothing about wrong or right. It's just being source. You don't have to be anything. All right. Oh, the battery. We'll get the other battery because this is important. Okay, guys. Now that we're getting the camera going again. Wow, this thing just said that's it. Okay. And so, well, then we'll turn off your hotspot and the battery will last longer. One moment, please. Okay, guys. Yes. Now, you're ready. Let's do the structural work for the future point of your newer self. The introduction was just the planar level, the part that was just holding that point. And so we're going to do the structure now. Daddy K, I'm in Daddy K school. And so, all right, guys, now we're going to do full projection. All right, so now you're in your soul self. Now remember, you see yourself in the soul. You can see yourself in your body. All right, on the count of 3, you're going to go up above your soul self, within, behind the curtain, up to above the veil of life and death. 1, 2, 3. So now just see yourself up there with your guides. It's not like climbing a ladder or anything. Just see yourself there. In the quantum state, you just know yourself a place, and it is. All right, so now we are going to create a future point in timeline stuff. And so, yes, you are in so deep. Good luck on becoming functional again as a human. Yeah, baby. Talk about creating perfect addicts. I can't go to anybody but Daddy K. He's made me useless as a corporeal. It's not fair. And so, come on, if you're going to be really needing something, it might as well be the highest divine energy possible that's transmuted you to fulfill your prophecy. Oh, I'm addicted to God, baby. Yes, maybe I can put God with another mate and we'll have a good time. God loving God, just like Ariel said, right, Rebecca? And so that's what twin souls are. And so now we're above. Here's your guides, your angels, and you can see them. You can look around above the veil. You can look down at your soul and at your body. So here you are, da-di-da. If you just see light, that's okay. If you can't imagine yourself up there, then just follow us. We'll take you on the ride. And so now remember how we travel through time like we did the last yoga. We take this timeline and we are going to move it. So 1, 2, 3, we grab it with the hands of God and we move this to the future this time. We did the past before, remember? So now we move this and we go. Now, the way to find out the perfect point to land is you'll feel it. So this is part of your God training. You're going to have this subtle energy. If you're doing timeline working and editing, you're going to know. It's kind of like a tumbler, somebody cracking a safe. You're like, you'll just feel it's like click. So you're going to find that click in the timeline. And you guys got to tell us when. So see if we all find it in the same place. So as we move this, right? Tell us when. And it just feels like a little different. This is a signature alignment. We'll find the frequency. It's right about, oh, that's nice. So we're going to put a crystal pillar there. So now we've anchored it above the veil into the present future self. And so now we have created a pillar. So now that we've created a future point, right? This is the feminine, this is the masculine, right and left, right? Just to show a reference. Now we've got a future point. This is our crystal pillar. And so, rock and roll, baby. Now that we have this, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to send energy up to it. But before we do that, let's create a pillar in the present. So we are in the future, but now just see yourself in the present, even though you've traveled. So just come back to this present self. And we're going to put a crystal pillar in 2018, August 12th. 1, 2, 3, now. Good. All right? So, or whatever time it is right now in this dimension, with the Walmart and a car wash and almost a tornado and a flooding Starbucks after doing Atlantean crystal work. All right? So now you have this thing. So now that we've got a pillar here in the future self and the present self, we're going to run the energy. So from this present self where you are now, we're going to pulse. So 1, 2, 3, we're going to pulse this energy. So we're going to loosen it, right? It's kind of like if you guys have taken Rebecca's cellular memory course, they charge up the system. We're going to charge up the timeline, and we're going to project all this from the feminine, masculine on over. So guys, ready? We're going to pulse this together. The way you create a quantum pulse is you just kind of like send a pulse energy, like almost like a concussion or a compression field. 1, 2, 3, now. And so as that ripples through, it loosens stuff up. And then it will double back when it hits that point. It's like, you take a rope, tie it to something, and you go like this. And when it hits that, it comes back. So it's the ripple. So now, as this loosens up, you project it forward, this energy then will ping back, right? And it returns. Well, what does that do? Hello, let's do the math, right? So now this releases your limiting future you self possibility, right? So then it actually loosens that up because the way experiences are set in timelines are structured based upon what is required or scheduled for the evolution, the efficient delivery of an experience, the completion of a covenant, or many other reasons. But an experience is set as a primary structure that you go through. So when we pulse this wave, then it then loosens that up. Because remember, that future self was determined based upon the present self, which was determined on what happened in the past, which returned to mush. So now you can't use your future that was as your reference. It's time to loosen it up. And then we get into this, right? So now this is the energy flows between the time points in the timeline. So here's the timeline. It's almost like a guitar string. 2 pillars, the future and the present, right? This creates a higher beginning. So this comes back, bounces again, goes forward, right? And then it loosens more future, which then pings back, loosening this whole thing, right? This then is reinforced, right? Reciprocation. So now it comes in, and this, because you're not stuck at this lower timeline, loosens it up, and you're available to go to the vibrational level, which is your primary frequency. You see, this ascension symptom stuff isn't so much what's coming in, it's what you're leaving. This is the pollution, microwaves, weird signals, cell phones that give you cancer, all that stuff. It's not designed for life. It's designed to kill the agricultural crop sooner than what it is. And so now, right, so this then lands on a higher timeline, a new present you self, which then goes on this timeline, hitting this, rippling back, right? And this creates a new beginning in this present. Does that make sense, everybody? So now what you've done is you've created a ripple effect through the different layers of possibility. Possibility being that version of you, and that version, and that version. And so you're no longer bound with all this weird stuff that was holding you. So as we do that, this is going to create a really amazing reciprocation, right? So now let's see the timing and the battery. Good. Thank you for your patience. Patrick has been going a little crazy, throwing in an instantaneous webinar, but it turned out really good and also facilitating the hot springs thing, which was not scheduled on his journey. But it now is opening up the Elysian crystal fields of Atlantis and Lemuria. These are where the crystals, some of them were grown for Atlantis. And so that's why they kind of feel like they're not really here, because they're not in this now. They're in several nows. And so this is what happens because he's learning how to apply the quantum road trip so that it benefits a bunch of people instead of just himself. All right, now this is a past diagram, but we're going to show you because it's not drawn. And so imagine this reversed from the past to the future. So this is the structure that's turned around, right? And so this is like potential feminine in the future, potential feminine in the present. So now we actually, there's a feminine and a masculine in the future, which creates this structural plane, right, on this dimension. Now, as we go up to the higher self, and imagine this in the future, then you have the higher self of the present that comes into the higher self of the future. So now you see we have a structure. Doesn't that look crystalline, right? So now, and the masculine is kinetic energy, and the feminine is potential. So now we have a structure. And this is where we can trace lines of fields. All right. So here's the next level. This is where you guys in your many lives get to really start being freed up. This is what you get in the money shop for with these subscriptions. All right. So imagine this is Atlantis, but it could be the future. So this is reversed again. And your higher self, right, is connecting with the white timeline. Remember, the white timeline is the timeline of perfection. And remember, this is what we use for editing and bringing in a better yuga, but now we're creating a new body. So there is this regular earth level stuff, but then if we energize this future, and it then goes to here to this present higher self, or this earth self then goes up to the present higher self, and the higher self goes to the earth self, then you have a cause and effect. And so what we're going to do now is this going back and forth between the future and your present. Future and your present, we're going to pulse it. If you remember, to start the process, we pulse portals through each lifetime. So now, this is going to be through the future lines, right? So remember the pulse program, where we went boom, 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 boom. Each of these are a gateway into different lives. So this is the different future lives. But as it's changing, that's why you need a new reference. Does this make sense? Yes, Susie, several nows. And Susie, you did say that you wanted to get back to that really interesting place. Well, you notice how this is like the interesting within the interesting? It's like, yes, which is where shit becomes holy, as it is proclaimed. See, holy shit. And so, not just for India anymore. Yes, we have canned it and sell it on eBay. Yes, this is from the staples of Ganesh himself. Yes, you too. Just smell the aroma. One pop of that Pringles can of God and you will be in Nirvana. Kind of. All right, so ready? Now, guys, we're going to pulse from this up. Okay? So now in our present self, we got a higher self there, the soul self went up. Remember, you came from soul self up to above the veil. So that's kind of like taking your soul self. Now we're going to merge your higher self, present self, with your present soul self up there above the veil. So see yourself up there. 1, 2, 3. Merge with the higher self, which is like the God self. Okay. Now take your soul self And let's project it to the future, full, and now merge with your higher self there, right? And now what this does, this is really cool. This is switching. So this divine earth light gets energized into the physical. And imagine this is reversed again. And so your light comes back into the present. So now, instead of some funky dunky 3D stuff, of, oh, this stuff I'm dealing with in my family, and the government is weird. Imagine if you were in your life of destiny now. So the cause and effect comes in and it ripples back and forth, back and forth. So as we do this, now this higher self is pinging to the present self, and the the future earth level stuff is pinging to the higher self of the past. And so it's literally a reciprocation. The diagrams that we're going to show you this month about the energy dynamics is like a infinity. And so this is where we really get the pulse you actually build your structure. And then at that point, then we will get into the design of the fractal breathing, and that's where we will collect the self, the spirit, the soul. So this will then allow you to have a Jacob's ladder system designed by us. How are you guys doing? So then, now you've got something to work with. Oh, I'm going to just take my body and it's physical and it's made of flesh and bone, and I'm just going to go in there and hang out with Jesus. Like, that's a really good plan, right? When we looked at that, it was like, oh, God, we do want them to actually stay breathing in the new earth. If they're still breathing, then they've earned the breath. So you guys should actually keep your bodies. So if they're going to keep their bodies, the bodies have to be new. Ask Rebecca about the Homo Luminous process. It's a project that the teams are doing, and this is where you are getting your physical light body. Rebecca is amazed that she's alive, but part of her did die. And so as this happens, she is there in the front level of this wave, right? So she's surfing that tip and transmuting it. So by the time you get it, it's already been facilitated so it's not so intense, because you guys might die if you had to deal with that cosmic energy, or at least beg for termination. And ask Rebecca how that went. That didn't work out too well when you keep telling your team, screw you, I'm out of here. And they're like, oh, they want more. And so as we pulse this is the future self. And as we do this, then this will ping. Because when we finish this, we are going to join it together. So next week will be heaven, the heaven point, right? So we're going to energize that. This polarization of your present pillar self is literally, this is when next week we're going to be actually, the newest self, right, is where we are going to create a nodal point. This is your present self in a basic diagram, heaven and earth, right? And so you've got your body self and your higher self and your soul, which then adorns itself with the spirit, which then creates the you self of your identity and character. This whole thing is having to be restructured because it's like you can't just do it with an ego. It won't work because the mind just can't do a leap like that. Patrick's mind, you see, he's kind of like an exception because he's learned. He actually spent about 5 years or so, 7, trained, having his mind realize its true position, which is basically as a supporting role, part of the crew. So it actually helps create the thing that the universe is given. And it's a very interesting dynamic, and that's part of the new earth existence. And it allows you for you to be in the higher level. But this is part of the Exodus program to get your butts out of the thick stuff so that you guys can get into this God level. Disclaimer, you become less functional in the material human realm, and you might feel lonely or isolated. But guys, there's a lot of people that are triggering free, they're popping, and you're going to meet your soul family there. We're not saying win, but let's just say, is there anybody here on this dimension you can vibe with anymore? And we are in many ways responsible, but we did tell you You're going to become less human capable. But it's so worth it, isn't it? Because it's like, how much of the stupid can you handle? Because in your divine self, okay, more patience training. Oh, I'm in cosmic diplomacy. I'm in patience. I'm in acceptance. And I'm in this. Because it's like, oh, I can't even go to dinner. I just healed this baby that was sitting at the restaurant. It's like, well, gee, there goes my separate thing. Ah, God. Now I'm fixing people too much and I'm taking on their stuff, right, Rebecca? And so I was like, whoa, Rebecca did feel that she helped a bunch of kids ascend, right? They had died somewhere in the world a day or so ago, and she just went, boink, and as the mother, that's it. How are you guys doing? Please report. Yes. And so, Donna, the soul family, yes, it's nice to connect, but wait till you start really getting into your destiny. The ones who are going to actualize you as your power person. And instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to observe vicariously, you're going to really start becoming those movers and shakers. And you guys will be invoked through the protocols of invocation. You see, we kept that from humanity because if they know how to invoke properly, you have to show up. And so you're obligated. They're praying their butts off, right? Their butts, they leave them there and they pick them up later after they're done praying. So it's like, oh, wait, my ass is skinnier than that. No, it isn't. This is yours. This is your butt. Ah, man, I almost got away with having a thinner butt. Butt. And so, as they do that, they're getting more able to invoke you through these protocols of mandatory invocation. They then can start making it where you show up. It's like, for instance, that's what the masters have to go through. So, when somebody says, Saint Germain, please help Violet Flame, boom, he's there, right? But then again, he's got the skill set to be 10,000 Saint Germains all at the same moment. Imagine his day job. How busy is he? Well, he doesn't have to go, beep, 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 I need a vacation. It's like holding the ray, and then you guys get into the next level. At some point, we will tell you how to operate as a master, like they do, because you are helping to replace them with yourselves. So, does this all make sense? And how has it been for you guys? Okay, battery's still good. New phone, not overheated. It's not freaking out. Yay. And thank you, Car Wash Lighting, for making us look so illuminated. This fuzzy hair in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So, now that we've done this, we will be doing heaven. Party on. Yay, God, thank you so much. Where's heaven? Heaven is here, hiding in these diagrams. You guys like these diagrams? Does it make sense? Because this is very esoteric. What we're showing you, it's like, how come you function? Now, this full breath, this fractal breathing, has the full breath to soul part of the process where you will be going out. This is actually your going out and being in a life. And then the process of the return is a soul alignment. It's like one big Jacob's ladder across many timelines. But it's still being formed. The colors are going to be assigned to it. And those colors are chakric references. So then next week, we will bring in heaven, and you will have this triangle. And of course, we will, as above, so below that, then the earth. And there's 5 weeks for this. So by the time we're done with you, time will not be a reference because you will be in the eternal now. Thank you so much, guys. And Patrick is like, oh God, I survived Hot Springs, Arkansas, and they already want us to come back. So Patrick will require your help to do this. Are you guys ready to attend at least a master's retreat in these giant crystal fields of Hot Springs, Arkansas? So guys, life is good. We are complete. And now Patrick will go to the next place. And next Wednesday, there'll be another broadcast unless there's something else. You will report as things are going for those sessions and everything. we will facilitate them. This is Kartron. Thank you for attending this episode 4 on the 22nd season of our experience. You are really the ones making this possible. And so we are so blessed to be in service with you. Have a nice day and a beautiful ascent. Hi guys, how are you? The lady who's lived here for 20 years just reported today after, it must have been what we were doing, because she swims in that crystal waters all the time, maybe 3 to 4 times a week. And they went out last evening and swam in the lake because you don't have alligators wanting to bite your toes. And she said it was different. It was more peace, more calm. And so the work is coming through. And so that's what we're doing. And I'm realizing that usually water follows when I do the work. So it was downpouring at Starbucks and they had to close it. So I'm like, oh, yeah, just delay me. And so thank you for your patience while I'm scrambling around and getting this done. And as these manifestations come forward, this is going to get into a nice peaceful state. Part of this journey, as you may know, is for me to check out this new suspicions of reset. And this reset is what probably everybody, all of you heard. But there's this other thing, and I've already met one of the characters who's directly participating in it. This isn't about just some sidekick. This is somebody who's in a magistrate position. So as I get this figured out, and I know this is the deal, and it's cool, and you're not going to get into some weird thing because you listen to Patrick or Kartron, then it'll be available to you, and that's what we do. So guys, thank you so much. Life is good. Yeah, baby. Woo. Okay, we did it. And the rain stopped. Can I go home now? So, very good. Bye.